Good evening, everyone. Notice is hereby given the City Council of the City of Alpine, Texas will hold a regular meeting at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 17, 2018, the City Council chambers at 803 West Holland in the City of Alpine, Texas, for the purpose of considering the attached agenda. This notice is posted in pursuant to Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.043, Texas Government Code. Public notice: the use of cellular phones and sound-activated pages are prohibited in the City Council chambers during the meeting of the City Council. Members of the audience will be provided an opportunity to address the council during public hearings and during action items. Please speak into the microphone located at the podium and state your name and address. If you have a petition or other information pertaining to your subject, please present to the City Secretary. State law generally prohibits the council from discussing or taking any action on any issue not included on the agenda. But if appropriate, the council may schedule the topic for future discussion or refer the matter to staff. No personal attacks on council members or city staff will be allowed. The mayor may call a point of order to stop the personal attack. If an individual continues to personal attacks, an elected official or staff member in the meeting, they may be barred from speaking in future meetings. I'll call this meeting to order now. We'll have the invocation by Reverend John Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I am representing the First United Methodist Church here in town and your local ministerial alliance. If you would, pause with me. Join me in a posture of prayer and let us be open to God in this place. Gracious God, who lives and who moves among us, I give thanks for those of us who have gathered here tonight as one city ready to meet, to discuss, to hash out, to serve this place. And in this moment of preparation, make of us a city who listens to one another, who listens to the vulnerable, who listens to you, O God, so that we might best take care of our school kids, our hospital, of our struggling neighbors, of our city. Make of us a city who is insistent with hope and faith in our vision, in the dreams of our friends, and in your guidance, oh God, so that we might be led, not by fear, not by worry, but by the hope and faith of our leaders, of our businesses, of our churches, of our fellow citizens. And make of us a city which honors you by seeking always to do all the good we can and by doing no harm, so that we may all see the power of kindness and goodness in ourselves and in our world. And we pray, we hope, and we trust in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thanks. Now pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you. City Secretary, do we have a quorum?
Mayor, we do have a quorum with an excused absence from Councilor Stevens, and the notice was posted at 1 p.m. on April 13th, 2018.
Okay, thank you very much. Today we have a couple of presentations, and we'll start off with Mr. Jay Horry. This is a certificate of recognition. This certificate is presented to Jay Horry, Public Utilities Assistant City Manager. Thank you for demonstrating the continued commitment and dedication required to the achievement of excellence and success to the City of Alpine. Signed on this 17th day of April 2018, Andres Ramos, Mayor of City of Alpine. Thank you very much. Jay will be leaving us to pursue another in Denver. Jay will be moving on to pursue another in Denver. We wish you the best in the future. Thank you very much for your service here, Jay. The next one we have is Guadalupe Rodriguez. She stepped forward. Is she here? Not here. I'm gonna go ahead and read it anyway. Celebrating years of service. This certificate is presented to Maria Guadalupe Rodriguez, Police Department. Thank you for demonstrating 70 years of continued commitment and dedication required to achieve excellence and success to the City of Alpine. From April 2nd, 2001 to April 2nd, 2018. Signed on the 17th day of April 2018, Andres Ramos, Mayor of City of Alpine, Texas. I want to congratulate her on that. And I have one more. Hector Ramirez. Haven't cut you off guard. Celebrating years of service. This certificate is presented to Hector Ramirez, Street Department. Thank you for demonstrating 35 years of continued commitment and dedication required to achieve excellence and success by the City of Alpine from April 1, 1983 to April 1, 2018. Signed on the 17th day, April 2018. Andres Ramos, Alpine City Mayor. And that's, I think you're the senior man here, aren't you? And congratulations, that's a long career. Appreciate it. Okay, not a problem. We need to. Okay, city reports. We're gonna recognize some individuals whose birthdays are this month, and the person is Valerie Catani, Police Department. Valerie, you here?
Oh, no, I don't think any of them are.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and still go down the line. Marco Macias, Wastewater Treatment Department. Eddie Molinar, Street Department. Antonio Ibarra, Gas Department. Giovanni Gonzalez, Financial Department. Wish them all a happy birthday. And now we'll go to the city manager report.
Mayor, I don't have a report under city staff updates. We do have a quarterly report from Mr. Horry on parks.
Okay, Ms. Horry.
Mayor and Council, on the parks, it's starting to get very busy, of course, with baseball, softball coming up. They've been working on both those, watering, gopher control, soccer field. They prepared those for the season. They have resodded the baseball field with some help from the high school. They've done some welding out there, repaired some stuff, fertilized Coconut Baines Park. New play equipment's been installed in a couple of different parks. Benches have been installed around town, if y'all have seen those. And they're hoping to get some more sponsors to bring those around, and you may see some more around town, around the parks also. Repairing sprinklers and adding new sprinklers throughout the parks. And repairing a lot of water leaks around the city parks also. So they've been very, very busy. Any questions?
Thank you very much, sir. I just heard about the sprinkler being repaired, which is a hard task. So tell the guys thanks for doing a fine job out there, okay? Now we'll move on to public hearings. City manager.
Mayor, we have a public hearing to hear citizens' views and comments concerning an application request for rezoning from R1 to CO in order to allow space for a small professional business office. Property identification and street address is 207 North Harrison. Legal description in Hancock Edition, Block 4, Lot 6, E14 BRS of 7. Record owner is Tony P. Brickover.
And that's adjacent to the insurance business. I'm not correct.
Yes.
Thank you. Any comments on this? Seeing none, then we'll go ahead and move on. Consent agenda, minutes, financial reports, department written reports, and board appointments, etc. Notice to the public that following items are routine administrative nature. The council has been furnished with background support material on this item, or it has been discussed in a previous meeting. All items will be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a council member, in which event the item or items will be immediately withdrawn for individual consideration in this normal sequence after the items not requiring separate discussion have been acted upon. The remaining items will be adopted by one vote. City manager.
Mayor, we only have one item on the consent agenda, and that's the approval of minutes from the city council meeting on April 3rd, 2018.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming that the conversation that the three of us had will take care of the flawed minutes.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier.
Yeah, okay, we will not have this same thing that happened last month. Right? Shortage.
Oh, I don't know how that works.
Thank you. Okay. I move that we approve the minutes as read.
Thank you, sir. Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you. And now we'll move to the information or discussion items. We have Mark Scudder with MLS Service.
It says Mark, but it's Mike.
Sorry.
I'm gonna text one and say, hey, you got the wrong one.
Yeah, you don't need to that's okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I have the fourth quarter for 2017 report and the first quarter for 2018. The total number of calls that we had for the city county were 147 for the 3 months of October, November, December. There were 73 city transport calls, 42 no transport calls, 21 county calls, and 11 county no transports. These were broken down for October. We had a total of 63 total runs. November, we had 47, and December, there were 37. For our air ambulance transports in a facility from the hospital to the airport, there were a total of 58 for the fourth quarter. There were 11 in October, 22 in November, and 25 in December. And let's go to the first quarter 2018 for January, February, March. We had 157 calls. For the city, there were 98 transports, 28 no transports, 24 county call transports, and 7 no transports for the county. For January, there were a total of 51. February, 61. March, there were 45. And for the air ambulance transports for that quarter, for total, we had 100 for the 3 months. In January, we had 36. February, we had 33. And March, we had 31. Any questions? Or
You guys have any questions? Got a man back there. Please.
Well, it's a lot of times the beginning of the year it is. It's just because the flu season and medical problems. January, February, March usually are pretty busy. And then now probably through April, the spring, it kind of lightens up, the summer too, and then it starts kind of building up again. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just depends what they get out here. If it's something that's outside the realm that they have to transfer out.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we have a quarterly report by the Chamber of Commerce by Aaron Rodriguez. Is he here? Not here, so okay. Move that out. Okay. Item C, City Manager, I think you're going to be covering, Mr. Stevens'
This is to review and discuss the road repair and maintenance priority list for the spring-summer paving season. Mr. Stevens requested this be placed on the agenda. In your packets, you have a rundown of the list of streets as per the planning capacity study that the city has. And then you've got these additional 2 sheets for seal coating and paving. And I did ask Hector to be here also, not just for certificate. I got to put him to work too. In case you all have any questions, currently the street department, for all intents and purposes, is down to 2 people. We have planned on starting in the next couple of weeks and moving forward with this street list. But in light of the fact that we don't have staff in that department, we're looking at a different strategy to address some of the street issues as far as at least milling and compacting to kind of get rid of the potholes. But don't think we're going to get to any paving.
Hector, you have to wear 2 caps.
We have the positions posted since January. Our hiring requirements required that they pass a background check and that they pass a drug screen. Out of, I think we've looked at like 14, only 2 people so far.
Someone didn't even show up.
And then they didn't show up for their interviews. And so I think tomorrow we're interviewing another 4 or 5.
That'll be Thursday.
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 So try to get that department back up to capacity with its staff. And then, of course, the sooner we do that, the sooner we can get to training them. But to get them out on the equipment this year would be really unlikely.
What's more capacity in that department?
8.
Yeah, we could be on 8.
8.
We could have that.
How many positions do you have to fill?
8.
8 positions?
6. 6.
They got two left.
So technically, I think there's still 4. One of them submitted his letter of resignation yesterday. The other one is probably by the end of the week. We're going to try to hang on to them. What is the reason for hire?
So we're target shooting back to full capacity right when more or less.
Friday?
This Friday.
ASAP.
Yeah. We're going to keep going through the application and hiring process until we get them filled, and that's not a priority. It could be a couple months.
Yes, sir.
I want to compliment Hector and his people. This is a very ambitious schedule because I don't know how, if everybody knows this, but not only do we have a serious lack of personnel, we don't do this year round. We only got a few months of the year that you have paving season. So, you kind of jam all of this into just a handful of months and with an understaffed. I think this is kudos to him and his people.
Another 35 years, please. Yes, sir.
I just want to say compliments to Hector and the crew that he has for the fine work they've done on some of the streets over in Ward 2. They're up to shape, and the residents of Ward 2 appreciate that.
Great job, Hector.
Okay,
item D, city manager.
This is another item that was requested by Mr. Stephen. This is to discuss the current status of the recycling center and staffing levels. Again, the recycling center does not have a tech in the position right now. That particular tech resigned from the recycle center to go to the street department. And I think he was with you, what, less than a month? Then resigned to take another job that paid more money. So that position is still open. It is another position we are trying to fill. Patsy was kind of juggling 3 hats until we brought on our building inspector. And so we've gone to some new hours. So the recycling center will be open in the afternoons, Monday through Friday. She'll be doing code enforcement in the morning, but we're still limited to the time that we have to be able to do any kind of mulching or crushing or more strenuous work at the recycling center. That position has also been posted for about a month, and we have not had anyone apply for that position. Again, it's a position that is part-time, and it does start at $10 an hour, and so it's got to be the right person. It just needs something to do in here.
Are we still accepting brush out there in 3 months, or you put a hold on that right now?
Yeah, they got to take them to the
Do that then.
Part-time is
20 hours.
24 hours a week.
So if you, the public, know if anybody needs a job, have them apply through the city website, because we do need these folks, and we've got to keep the city running, especially the streets. They do a fantastic job there, but I mean, he's so shorthand, it's unbelievable. So I don't want him to quit anytime soon.
It's actually in all departments. I think our treatment plant is down to 1 person. In 2 weeks, we'll be down to 1 person at the treatment plant, so that'll be another position we're trying to replace. I think we've got some people missing from water also, so 2 from the water. So we've got probably about 12 positions, 12 or 13 positions that are open.
We advertise it also, the other events at the local, Sentinel.
The Avalanche we are. The Avalanche we are. We did do a run out in Odessa, and we did get some interest, but the pay just wasn't enough to get us.
And we're competing against the petroleum industry.
I know that Fort Stockton is updating their wage chart. Presidio just updated theirs. Martha's in the process of updating theirs to try to compete, to hang on to it. So we're doing the same also. We'll have to.
Yeah, we have to be competitive. Okay, thank you. And let's move to the action items to be accompanied by a brief statement of facts, including where funds are coming from, if applicable. Action items limited to 10 per meeting. Citizens are allowed to comment within 3 minutes and will be called upon by the mayor. Citizens are required to state their name and the ward in which they reside. Priority to be given to the citizens of Alpine and those who own business or property in the city. Individuals who do not live in, own business or property in the city limits of Alpine will be allowed to speak if there's time available. And we go to item number 8.
Mayor, this item is discuss and take action on a resolution of the city of Alpine, Texas, finding that AEP Texas Inc.'s application to amend its distribution cost recovery factors to increase distribution rates within the city should be denied, finding that the city's reasonable rate case expenses shall be reimbursed by AEP, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, requiring notice of this resolution to AEP and legal counsel. This is something you do on a regular basis whenever they want to increase their rates. You can not approve the resolution, and that will force it into an extended 90-day period for it to go to the TUC review, and then we'll look at it again.
What is the proper way?
Discussion.
So that's my question about the motion. What type of motion do we make it if we want to decline this? Is there some kind of controversy between it should be a positive motion to vote against or something like that? This doesn't come up too often, so that's why I'm asking for clarification. How should the motion be phrased if we don't want it? If we don't want it, go along this way.
Yeah,
Well, let's see.
yeah, Yeah, he's in the little corner. Adolfo.
Adolfo.
Yeah.
There you go. Got a question for you. How to word the motion on item 8.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The
The
item tracks the resolution. So that's the resolution language. It could be asserted in the positive or negative, just as long as the agenda item is understood. The council can not approve it, which is in a sense, or reject it. It's the same as any other ordinance, but with this particular resolution or ordinance, it has the resolution language. It has the title of the resolution and the agenda item. So it's it doesn't have to be approval or denial. If it's the idea of the resolution is not to approve, then that's fine. The council has its option to approve, not approve, amend, not amend, but the resolution language is sufficient.
So the title, Adolfo, on the resolution is a resolution of the city of Alpine finding that AEP Texas Inc.'s application to amend its distribution cost recovery factors to increase distribution rates within the city should be denied. So would the motion be to approve this if it's the intent of council to deny the increase?
That's correct. To approve the resolution as to deny it.
I move that we approve the resolution.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, no, right, second. Any discussion? We all understand what we just did. Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion, raise your right hand. All those against, like sign, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Adolfo.
Sure.
Okay, we'll go to item 9, city manager.
Item number 9 is discuss and take action on the recommendation from the Airport Advisory Board to decommission the Brewster County non-directional radio beacon and to take action to work with the Williams Ranch to relinquish the NDRB's leased property back to the Williams Ranch as per the original lease obligations with the city. Again, this is an item requested by Mr. Stevens. This beacon, my understanding is this beacon is not functioning and is outdated technology for the airport. And so the purpose of this item is to allow us to terminate the lease for the land for the beacon and then decommission the beacon altogether.
And the property goes back to the Williams Ranch, correct? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
So I move that we approve the recommendations from the Airport Advisory Board to decommission the Brewster County non-directional radio beacon, NDRB, and take action to work on the Wilson Ranch to relinquish the NDRB's lease property back to the Wilson Ranch as per the original lease obligations within the city.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Any discussion?
The airport.
Once here.
Jay. Jay's like, no.
What do you want to know?
Anything ready to add?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so motion been made and second. All those in and no discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 10, city manager.
This item is to discuss and take action to approve the swimming pool schedule, fees, and reimbursement to lifeguards for certification. This is another item of business that you all do on an annual basis, that's my understanding. We're proposing that the season for the pool be from Memorial Weekend through Labor Day, if we can retain sufficient lifeguards to keep up to that. In your packets, you have the proposed rates for the annual passes, the pool rates, the pool parties, as well as the proposed rate of pay for the lifeguards and reimbursement process.
It's the same as last year. Make it clear, there is no increase here.
All entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the swimming pool schedule, fees and reimbursements for lifeguards for certification.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made in second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 11, city manager.
This item is to discuss and take action to allocate the appropriate funds as the match portion of the TxDOT grant for airport improvements. This is to meet the requirements of the funding for the airport. I believe the grant amount, yeah, there it is. The grant amount is $3 million and our match portion is $300,000. And I believe each of you all received an email with options for pulling the match together from different funds. I do have to add to it.
I think it's a good idea that we get it from different places instead of just one person or one department altogether. This to me seems like a no-brainer. You know, we're going to give them $1, they're going to give us 10. What's wrong with that program? You know,
They need some repairs out there.
Yeah, I'm sure
There's
they
other
will.
funds.
So I would move that we allocate the appropriate funds as to that match portion of the textile grant for airport improvements.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, any discussion?
So, the handout or the extra email that you all received with the alternative for fundings, council will need to determine which one of those options they want to take to pull that match. There is one in there that includes pulling some hot funds, and we have reviewed it, you know, with the state and reviewed kind of how we can use different funds, and some of this would be eligible because we do receive tourists there. We provide a courtesy van for tourists there to get them to and from to their hotels, as well as a mini visitor center station at the terminal. So we kind of spread it out a little bit more so as not to deplete any of the reserve funds from one of the other accounts.
And that's the reason raising the red flag with me was the hot fund. But you've cleared it. We can use the hot money.
And it's a very minimal amount compared to the budget size because of that.
But I know that the hot fund law is very straightforward. You don't need to be an attorney to figure it out. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, removing the funding from the hot funds reserve, that doesn't deplete the reserve itself.
No, I believe what Megan did was she kind of looked at what all the reserves were, and she pulled the portion of that reserve that basically is affordable to that account. It doesn't deplete it completely.
So we're saying money's in.
Yeah, there will still be funds in it.
So the idea now is to sort of look and decide on one of the options. On option 3, my only other question is it could be transferred from the general fund and from the gas department. That would amount to $66,602. That's correct. No.
I never saw it.
Does it be, okay, option 3 is, it says airport reserve, $84K, $989. And funds to be determined by council. And one of those is hot reserve funds of $81,000. So the remaining amounts would have to come out of the general fund.
Yes.
And the gas department at an equal amount. So whatever the remaining balance after the other two, I suppose it comes out to 66 cents.
Well, I think, and I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that option 3 is that based on the balance that she's stated in there, council can say this is what, you know, because we have a limited amount, we just want to pull out 20,000. And then we would take the difference between that, the gas equity transfer, and then split it between the other two funds to make up the total 300,000. Can I get something to make us a copy of that? Because it's not in our books. Yeah.
I want to check that.
Okay, oh, wait, any more discussion?
I think it's a good idea that you're distributing it instead of taking out a lot of water. I think it's a great idea. And then let everybody have a little piece to pay.
Okay, so there's no more discussion. The made second, all those in favor, raise your right hand.
I think you have to correct the motion.
Yeah, corrected the motion. You want to correct it? Yeah, you think that it's. You want to correct the motion?
Make the motion, deal with that.
Actually, you made the motion.
I did, oh, yeah.
So I think you need to discuss what that amount, if you want to go with the third alternative, what the amount from the hot funds would be that you want to take out. So then from there, we would just take the difference from here.
You know, we don't have the options. The figures aren't in here.
That's why we need to wait.
Yeah.
So we
Okay,
did.
we could put that.
Sorry.
Here she comes.
Thank you. Now that we all know.
So you can use option 3.
So again, option 3 would be if you determine you want to take only 20,000 from the hot reserve, then we would split the difference, whatever's remaining from the general fund and the gas department.
And there's enough money, right?
62,000.
So what's the negative for Zoom option 2? We don't have funds alone. We're going to get beat to death with that stuff request too.
I think the only difference is that you're pulling more from the gas and the general fund reserve.
For the street, not for the streets.
Future projects, salary increases to retain employees.
We're doing a real good job of that, aren't we?
So I think option 2 probably is the best one.
What's that one?
I move that we allocate the appropriate funds as a match portion for the Texas Department of Transportation grant for airport improvement as follows. The option 2, the airport reserve of $84,989.35. And then the equity transfer from the general fund, $107,505.32. And the remaining would come from the equity transfer from the gas department, $107,505.32. Option 3. Option
No, option 2.
2 or 3?
He made the motion for
Yeah, I know.
option 2 without the hot fund.
Motion 2, that they talked about. This gave the option.
So we're going to go to 2 or 3.
Well, the motion is for 2.
But you need it for 2.
Okay.
You want to go right there or 3?
Ready for 2.
Yeah, you read it for 2, so we.
I personally don't like going to the hot funds. That's all I.
Option 3, copy of
That's
this.
right.
So you need to have an amount that you're going to want us to pull from that.
The motion is to allocate the appropriate funds at the match portion of the Texas Department of Transportation grant for airport improvements. And we go for option 3, the airport reserve in the amount of $84,989.35, and the remaining funds to be determined, a transfer from the House Reserve of $81,806.53, and then the equity transfer from the general fund of $66,602.25, and an equity transfer from the gas department at $66,602.25.
Not it.
Because that 81,000 depletes the whole hot fund reserve.
It does agree.
It does. Because that's the balance in the hot fund.
That's what I,
Yeah, so that's why if you say you have to determine the amount of that reserve you want to use, and then the difference would come from the other two funds. So yes, if we use all of the hot funds, then your 66,000 calculation is correct, but then you have no more hot funds.
How much money that hot fund?
That's where we need a financial person here. She's got financial training right now.
Okay, on the hot fund, how much would be a safe balance to leave in there?
I would say you probably want to leave between 55 and 65.
Every year we get more requests for funds than we've got. We've never had enough in the hot funds. That's one of the reasons I'm not terribly excited about going to the hot funds to begin with. We don't have enough hot fund money to fund all the requests we get every year anyway.
Yeah, but it's- Yeah. We don't have all these. Do
Yes,
you want to table it?
I think that, yeah.
We need to send a response back to TechStar.
Right.
Is there a deadline on it?
Let's say the 23rd or something.
Yeah, I believe it's April 23rd. So you just pick an option and then pick an amount. You say, well, 15,000 from the hot and then split the difference between the other two, or just stick with option 2 if you don't want to pull from hot funds. I mean, Megan laid it out so that you could pick from whichever those options were to cover that 300,000.
Okay, now, my only question on the hot funds is what, again, as the mayor asked previously, would be a safe amount for to keep the reserve?
Yeah, anywhere between 55 and 65 is a safe amount to leave in that reserve, based on what you would fund on a regular basis.
I'm not sure that's even a safe amount because, like I said, we've never had enough money to cover all of the requests. And of course, some of
Well,
them we
but
throw out anyway.
you have to remember also that this year that process is going to change because the law changed. So you're not going to be able to fund the request at the levels you did in the past anyway. They're getting more and more strict each year on how we're spending, which is why we're having the workshop on May 15th, so that when we get to that point of looking at the request and we have to deny certain expenses that in the past we would have funded, they're already aware that we can't legally fund them anymore under the legislation.
I'm not opposed to denying funds because a lot of the requests we get are less than stellar.
So that's why that's why I kind of threw that number 20,000 out. You could say, well, it's 15,000 and be conservative with what's left in there. But it is at your pleasure.
Yeah, I definitely don't think we ought to take the full amount.
No. Okay, so considering that information, fellow councilman, it's just something to bring out in spirit of discussion is maybe what we ought to do is reconsider maybe option 2 and leave the hot funds reserve in track, primarily because the hot funds actually used to bring money into the city.
Support events that
Yes, very
What
much.
has the kids?
Bring revenues into the city.
So does the airport.
well, that's true.
How much?
We kind of agree with it a lot, actually. You get a lot of tourists that come.
I would put it on hold and bring it back, come back, right? That would be next year. We all just assume that the 23rd.
Yeah, because
I
we,
think you guys can make this decision.
okay,
It's not that hard.
I look for it to,
It really
let's
isn't.
table it till Friday, we'll have a special call for me. And then we'll have all the figures in front of us.
Right? Yeah.
Why don't we just go with option 2?
Yeah, that's up to you, city council.
Well, I don't know, that's what I threw out. Is there anything I might-
These numbers are not going to change between now and Friday.
Yeah, right.
They're not.
Just a matter of where we want to get the money from.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not comfortable with pulling from the hot funds, then just stick with one or two.
What the rest of you say?
You like three? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say it, Susan?
I like two.
I like to. Not sure, what were you?
Sounds good to me. Option 2.
Okay, so we're back to option 2.
Go back to motion, the original motion.
The original one. To recap, all motions. Okay. I move that we allocate the appropriate funds for the match portion of the Texas Department of Transportation grant for airport improvement and choose with option 2. That the airport reserve funds be used for that at $84,989.35. The remaining portions would be equally transferred, one to the general fund, $107,505.32, and 50 an equity transfer from the gas department at $170,505.33.
Okay. Second. Motion made and second. Any more discussion? All those in favor of option 2, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. We're gonna go ahead and go to option 2 then. Okay, let's move on. Item 12.
The next item is discuss and take action to approve updated and new job descriptions. A is Director of Public Utilities, B is Lifeguard 1, 2, and 3, C, Pool Manager, D, Human Resource Coordinator.
You have, city manager, you have reviewed, speak much. You have, I said speak much. You have reviewed and approved all of these. Do you have any questions, problems with any of these job descriptions? They work for her, I think it's her call.
Yeah, she's running the show.
Yeah, she put them together.
Yeah. You see it? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that we approve the updated new job descriptions.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I only have one question on city manager. The director of public utilities, it says update the current job description. Includes gas, sanitation, airport services. What is airport services?
Kind of overseeing the M&O of the airport. Whoever comes in will be overseeing this $3 million project.
Any more questions? All those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 13, city manager.
13 is discuss and take action to approve the donation of the 1982 Ford Yellow Ladder fire truck to the Marathon Volunteer Fire Department. You have photos of the vehicle in your packets, I believe. And do we have? Yay, okay, and we have the Marathon Volunteer Department. This particular unit has been out of service for a while. Forever.
I think that's a lot over.
Yeah, and so this is just removing it from our inventory. The Marathon Volunteer Fire Department has graciously agreed to take it off our hands and undertake the responsibility of repairing it and keeping it in service.
And secure the title.
And securing the title.
It's just been sitting next to that building over there for 12 years out of here.
No, when was the last time you used it?
Got it 1990 something. We used it for a couple of years, and then the whole problem was we were scheduled to have it repaired from a company, because when we bought it, it had problems with the aerial leaking in the hydraulics. And that type, the boom type, the hydraulics is not easy to get to. They're going to have to take the whole boom off to repair it. And the company that was going to do it went out of business. And because we had a quote of, I think it was, back then it was like $2,400 to fix it. And then after that, all the other companies were way far, Houston, Dallas area, and it was like $10,000, and it just wasn't able to fix that part. So we kept working with the pump until there was an electrical short, and we had the city look at it, but it was so old that that type of harness was no longer available. So it had to be something that was built, and no one could ever find the schematic to rebuild it. And so the PTO wouldn't work, so the pump wouldn't work, the battery wouldn't work, wouldn't generate air. And one of the other pumps was one of the outrigger struts.
You had that.
Administrator, pass the motion.
You should have asked me after. Yeah. Well, because it would be running as a reserve strut if it was not this pumps. But one of the other pumps is there's a strut, one of the hydraulic struts.
I think you've already hit
Never.
I think
You did ask.
Okay.
It's a good truck.
That's all I was going to say. Okay. Yeah, need a motion, entertain a motion on this.
I move we approve the donation of the 1982 Ford Yellow Ladder fire truck to the Marathon Volunteers Fire Department.
Second.
Okay, motion made in second, any discussion? That's a good truck.
You want to say anything?
Thank y'all very much.
Be careful what you ask for, Brad. Okay, see no more.
We sold a lot of hot dogs tonight.
See no more discussion, all those in favor? Raise your right hand, opposed, like sign. Congratulations. Yellow truck. Okay. Item 14. City council members' comments and answers. No discussion, action may take place. And we'll start with Councilman Attorney.
What a great meeting. Thanks everybody for coming.
It's been a great meeting. Thanks for coming. Again, happy birthday to all. Best wishes to all the folks with the birthday and also the certificate receivers. And I guess that's it.
Aside from thanking everybody for being here, I want to pass out a piece of information which I did not know, and I don't know if everybody out there knows or not. But I spent last week, I spent 4 days in the hospital because my potassium was low. I was down to 1.7, and they told me that it was much lower than that, and I had a heart attack. I had no idea that low potassium generate a heart attack. So I just passed that on in case people don't know it flash to me. And I'm a vitamin guy. And be careful, because I was 1.7. That would have gone down a few more tests if they had a heart attack. That's serious stuff. I just want to pass that on in case somebody could know that.
Well, I'm glad you're doing good.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that everybody's here, and I want to thank Hector for his years of service.
Well, thank everybody for being here again. And Hector, congratulations, 35 years, a big milestone. You need to teach the new hires how to do it, okay? And all those that had birthdays this month, I wish you all a happy birthday. So thank you all very much. Okay. Motion been made, no discussion on this. Adjourn.
Y'all have a good evening. Good night.
How are you?